Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I have a very exciting video for you guys today. I'm going to be comparing two highlighter palettes and we might have a dupe on our hands, and it's a really good one. I love both of these products. We're going to be comparing the Anastasia Beverly Hills Nicole Guerriero highlighter palette and the Colourpop Gimme highlighter palette. So if you guys love a good dupe as much as I do, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos from me. Occasionally I find a really good dupe and I am going to be starting a full-on playlist of dupes. But if you're excited to see how these two highlighter palettes compare, then just keep on watching. So before we jump into talking about these products, I just want to apologize if you guys can hear my air conditioner. It's a very hot day today in New York and I would rather film with that in the background than not be able to film at all. So I hope that you can't hear it, and if you can hear it, I hope that it doesn't bother you. I'm really excited to talk about these, so I wanted to film no matter what. Also, if you're not a newcomer to this channel, you probably can tell that I am filming with my good camera today. I really want you guys to be able to see everything clearly. So let me know if you like the lighting, if the audio is better than my other camera. I'm still playing around with this camera and editing software and everything, so hopefully I will get it together for this video. So I talked about this dupe before I left for vacation over on my Instagram and also my Snapchat, so be sure to follow me over there if you want to catch these things first. But I am going to insert a picture of the two palettes next to each other. As you can see, they are very similar. A couple shades are switched around, but overall they do look like very similar palettes. And I am not going to take credit for comparing these two palettes because realistically, my Snapchat fam is the one that came up with this idea. A few people over on my Snapchat requested this comparison, and that is why I made it. At first I was like, no, they're not the same at all, they're very different, and then I actually swatched them side by side and they are very similar to each other. So props to all of you guys over on Snapchat. You guys are brilliant and you came up with this comparison. I'm gonna go ahead and insert a picture of my swatch post from Instagram. This compares the exact shades from the two palettes. I'm going to be talking about them, but in case you guys just wanted to screenshot it and see for yourself how similar they are, you can go ahead and do that now. So first off, the Anastasia Nicole Guerriero palette is a $40 palette. I think that most of you probably know that. I have reviewed this palette. I had some ups and downs with this palette. If you guys follow me closely, then you know that. The first Nicole Glow Kit that I bought, I absolutely loved. I did a review video on it if you guys want to check it out. I love the formula. I love how they look on the skin. It's actually one of my favorite glow kits. But something that did happen throughout time was my glow kit got oily. Some oils were seeping out of the powders and getting onto the palette. I talked about it in a hit and miss video if you guys didn't see that, but basically around the pans started getting really greasy and gross, and I contacted Anastasia. It took a very long time for them to get back to me, but when they did resolve the problem. They sent me a new palette. It hasn't happened yet with this one, so that's good, but they did ask for my palette back, so they were going to be looking into the problem. I know a lot of you guys had the same problem, but that's kind of part of the reason why I'm excited that I found this Colourpop palette, because this palette is $18, so it's a little bit under half the price of the Anastasia one, and hopefully it doesn't get all greasy and gross. So the net weight of the Anastasia Glow Kit is 0.16 ounces, and the net weight of the Gimme More palette from Colourpop is 0.13. So they're not that different for the difference in price. So you pretty much get the same amount in the Colourpop one. So here are the two palettes side by side. As you can see, they have some serious similarities to them. I'm actually wearing one palette on one side of my face and one on the other, and you literally can't tell which one is which. So that is how similar they actually are on the skin, but in the pan themselves, they still look very similar. So a couple differences that I want to discuss are that the Anastasia palette has a bit more of a pigment to it. Not by a lot, honestly, but it does have a little bit more brightness to it. The Colourpop one though, to me, is worth it because it's almost as pigmented and it's a little bit less glittery. So the Anastasia powders have a little bit more glitter in them, in my opinion, and the Colourpop ones are a little bit more of a sheen. The only negative that I have to say about this Colourpop palette is that to the touch they feel a little bit more chalky with your finger than the Anastasia one, but with a brush and applied to the face, they're honestly so similar in formula. It's crazy. The Anastasia one, like I said, is just a little bit more brilliant and vibrant than the Colourpop one, but for $22 less, I personally, if I didn't have the Nicole one, would just buy this one. They are so close. They are just a little bit different with a couple shades. So I do want to get into swatching all of the shades and comparing them for you live on camera so that you guys can see just how close that they are. So I'm going to swatch them on the back of my hand live so that you guys can see how close they are. And I'm going to start by picking up one of the shades out of the Anastasia kit, and I'm going to pick up the comparison and keep on doing it that way. So the first shade in the Anastasia kit is Kitty Cat. So this is a pinky highlight. It does come off a lot more wearable than pink when it's on your face. It's a bit more of a silvery pink color. So I'm going to pick this up with my middle finger, just a regular swatch. So there is Kitty Cat on my middle finger. And the equivalent shade out of the Colourpop palette is this shade right here. It's another pinky highlight, and this is called Full Service. So there they are on my fingers. As you can see, Full Service right here is a bit darker. Like I said, the Anastasia ones are a bit more brilliant, but overall on the face, you genuinely cannot tell. So I'm going to go ahead and swatch Full Service on the back of my hand, and right below it, I'm going to swatch the Kitty Cat shade. So there they are. As you can see, the Kitty Cat one is way more vibrant, but the color tone is the same, and when you build them up on your face, they look identical. So next up, I'm going to go into 143 from the Nicole Guerriero kit. There is 143. And in the Colourpop palette, the comparison shade is in the same exact corner. This is called Total Package. And I'm just going to swatch them on the back of my hand. So there they are. The top one is Colourpop, the bottom one is the Nicole Guerriero shade, and they are the same exact color tone. The Nicole one is just more vibrant. So next I'm going to grab the orange highlight out of the Nicole kit. This is called Daydream. So there is Daydream on my middle finger. And then the corresponding color is the orange shade out of the Colourpop palette. This is called Bottomless. So there is Daydream and Bottomless. So it's actually very hard to see Bottomless. It kind of blends right into my skin tone, but since Daydream is so much more vibrant, you can see it a lot better on my skin. The next shade that I want to compare is Glow Getter out of the Anastasia kit. It's my favorite shade out of this kit. I'm wearing it on one of my cheekbones and I'm wearing the comparison on the other. So I'm going to go ahead and pick up Glow Getter with my middle finger. So there we have Glow Getter. And again, the corresponding shade is in the same spot in the Colourpop palette. This one is called Bigger and Better. So there they are on my fingers. These two are so close, and I'm wearing them today, and I personally can't even tell the difference between both of my cheekbones. So we're going to go in with Bigger and Better. So that one is a lot more vibrant than the other Colourpop ones. And then here we have Glow Getter. So there we have it. Bigger and Better and Glow Getter are seriously identical. Now the last two comparisons are the farthest cry from being a dupe, but they are still in the same color family and very similar. So we're going to take Forever Lit out of the Anastasia palette. This one, the only thing that makes it different from the comparison is the blue undertone, which is a very unique thing. So if you like this icy white with a blue undertone, you're really going to like Forever Lit and probably prefer it. So there is Forever Lit on my middle finger. And the closest color out of the Colourpop palette is called Upgrade. It's this middle shade right here. So I'm going to go in with Upgrade first, and then Forever Lit. So there we go again on the skin, very similar. You can definitely tell that Forever Lit is a bit more vibrant, but I actually have both of these shades on my brow bones today, one on one side, one on the other side, and I cannot tell the difference. Last up, we have the furthest comparison. It's the most different of the two shades, and it is going to be Forever Young, the middle top row out of the Anastasia palette, and I'm going to compare it to the first shade out of the Gimme More palette. This is called Extra. You can see that they have different undertones and that the Nicole one is a bit more brighter as usual. So the middle finger is Forever Young, and then we have Extra. So I'm going in with Extra first and then Forever Young. So I'm sure you guys are seeing this, even though this comparison right here is the most different undertone out of the palette, they still look the same on the skin. So hopefully you guys are seeing just how close these two palettes are. I'm not saying they're identical, but they are very, very close. So here is the entire lineup of swatches. I personally think that this is a close dupe, if not just a cheaper alternative, but so similar. It's crazy. It really just kind of blew my mind when I started swatching these. So you guys should know by now that I'm always going to keep it real with you guys. If I do have a personal preference in formula, I'm going to tell you. I personally do prefer the formula out of the Anastasia kit just because I know it's not important, but the way they swatch on the finger, it just means something to me because I am always playing with my products. So this one does get a little bit more chalky and chunky when you swatch it, so I don't really like that. But again, it's a very minimal thing when it comes to these palettes because they apply just fine on the face. And even though the colors do look a little bit different when swatched, they look exactly the same on the face. So in the long run, if the Nicole Guerriero kit does sell out, then you do have a backup if Colourpop decides to keep this one. And right now this Colourpop one is sold out, so if you guys already own the Nicole one and you were really disappointed about not getting this one, maybe don't be so disappointed because they are so similar. So hopefully my opinions and swatches and everything were helpful for you guys. I really enjoy this comparison. I think it's crazy how close they are. I also think that some of the shades in this Colourpop palette might be dupes for some discontinued shades from Anastasia. So some of the first glow kits that are not out anymore, I think a couple shades in here might be very close to those. So I am really hoping that Colourpop comes out with another palette like this. I will be scooping it up because for $18 this is so worth it. Let me know what you guys think down below. If you own either of these palettes and have issues with either of them, then let me know. I would love to hear your opinions. If you guys like dupe videos, then please give this video a thumbs up for me. If you're new, I would absolutely love it if you would subscribe. As always, thank you guys so much for all of your support and all of your love, and hopefully I will see you guys all in my next video. Bye.